Casting a shadow over all of sports, it's huge. Sportsblimp.
We are looming live over the great state of North Dakota. Will Regan here, and with me as always, Captain Hal Overman at the controls. How are you, Hal?
Said what?
We'll leave Hal to his work. And of course, my partner in the blimp and backup pilot, Eric Rantman.
Well, thanks so much. And here we go again, the promise of a championship for the Cincinnati Short Pants.
But here to spoil the day for them again, as they did last year, the Bismarck Bulldozers.
Before the action gets underway, let's set the table for our listeners.
I love when you talk sports like that. Yes, let's set the table, hand them a menu, and tell them what the specials are today. So this is a must-win for the Short Pants, having been denied twice in the playoffs.
Squatball kind of grew up on the farm here in the midsection of the country. Back in the day before the cell phone, you either smoked alfalfa behind the barn, competed in the tractor pulls, or played squatball. Take your pick.
Many of today's top squat ball players were, shall we say, the roughnecks in the neighborhood whose parents couldn't afford a tractor. So this sport was the ticket to college and a squat ball scholarship. Now it's a pretty big money sport.
Well, many of the players making hundreds of dollars a month. Well, before exciting squat ball play-by-play gets underway, here's a word from one of our sponsors to keep the sports blimp in the air. Alex Fendergast, Redemptive Driving School. Well,
Okay, Alex Fendergast was North Dakota's worst driver, receiving more than 375 moving violations before his untimely death. Alex Fendergast Redemptive Driving School believes we learn from our mistakes. If you've received a traffic court judgment that requires you to go to driving school, call Alex Fendergast Redemptive Driving School today. Their proven method assures you'll be a better driver, safer, and more attentive. Their patented blindfold GPS-guided safe driving course is guaranteed to help you focus on your driving skills, freeing your mind from texting and other distractions. More than one of our graduates says they will never forget the lessons they learned. Many of them never operated a motor vehicle again. The Fendergast Driving School featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not. Look for a valuable driving course discount in the Bismarck Journal. It's in there somewhere. Alex Fendergast Redemptive Driving School, learning from your mistakes.
Not endorsed by the Sheriff's Department.
all right, let's get to the squat ball action. The Cincinnati Short Pants go up against the Bismarck Bulldozers on this beautiful afternoon.
If you like life-threatening wind chill temperatures.
The crowd raises its voice. The hometown fans cheering on their Bulldozers.
No, I think that's for the cheerleaders, who just made their entrance, clad in their hard hats and peekaboo overalls.
And there's as play begins, the Bulldozers on the defense as the Short Pants launch their first forward roll. The four starpers pulling back on the big slingshot.
And that's a good one, Eric. The ball taking a friendly bounce for the Short Pants. Since the league went to these larger ottoman-shaped balls, we've seen some squirrely bounces.
Hey, wait a minute!
Field referee Antoine Wago has halted play.
Since they moved the refs off the field and into the press box for safety, it's a lot easier to hear them.
The aforementioned Short Pants squatter Archie Blenchenscheme looks like he's preparing to squat, but we'll have to wait for the call from the ref, who apparently spotted some infraction on the field at the end of the last play.
He's still watching the replay.
Never mind!
And so play will resume after Wego called a never mind.
Well, he doesn't have to yell. He's sitting right next to us.
There's the signal for the timeout. Why don't we use this moment to promote one of our new sports shows on the Sportsblimp network?
Coming up next week, that's right, it's Sportsblimp's new Locker Room Luck. Fans will try to guess whose locker it is and what's in it. And if they're right, they get sprayed in the face with champagne, just like the real champions do. Should be fun. That's coming up next week, next Thursday on the Sportsblimp Network.
And speaking of that, let's welcome our new affiliate in Burkittsville, Maryland, population 152. And they just got their second Pass and Gas station. And this one, Eric, has free refills on 64-ounce coffee and an original Miss Pac-Man machine for the kids.
Glad to have you guys with us on the network. And there's the clang, which means, of course, play is resuming on the field.
Abner Rack is in as half man for the Bismarck Bulldozers. They're on their own 247-meter mark.
Got my converter. Need that since squat ball went metric last year so they could play in any championship in Europe. that might come along.
As soon as they get the okay from the Prime Minister of Estonia, that's going to happen. Now back to the action on the field. The forward tripper, Riker's in position. Looks like they're going for it. Archie Blitzenscheme in position. And he squats!
Now watch how he's sitting on the ball, grabbing the side handles, scrunching down to lower that center of gravity, and gets ready for that hit.
And it's going to be a big one. Here comes the Bulldozers' biggest slammer, number 13.5, Rodney Tightlip.
Oh yeah, on loan from the Chippewa Reservation here in North Dakota.
Weighing in at 158.75 kilograms.
That's about a washer and dryer set, according to my calculations.
He makes his run. At full stride now.
Forward tripper doing his job, getting that leg in place.
Tightlip is airborne and...
Blitzenscheme holds on.
Yes, he holds on to those handles even though the blow ripped him and the handles from the ball. Blitzenscheme is lying on the field staring at the clouds with a squat ball handle in each hand, and yes, it still counts. Heck of a way to make 2 points. While Blitzenscheme is being hauled off the field in the groundkeeper's dump truck.
Let's remind you that next time we'll be back in the Blimp Hangar studio to bring you up to date on all the sports news with a week's worth of sports on the Sportsblimp, All Sports Network.
Good night, folks.
Sportsblimp is produced and distributed with a grant from the Goodyear Dirigible Company in Bucyrus, Ohio. Many of America's other favorite sports are played in the shadow of the Sportsblimp.